New Zealand has a rich tradition in motor racing, and it was all on show at the Gulf Oil Howden Ganley F5000 Festival of Motor Racing, held at Hampton Downs. One of the oversubscribed classes, and a crowd favourite, was the historic muscle cars. Many people still remember the heroic deeds of the likes of Dennis Marwood, Jim Riley, Rod Coppins, Red Dawson and Paul Fahey in these fire-breathing machines. Welcome to Hampton Downs and the Classic Driver magazine, Historic Muscle Cars and Trans-Am Anzac Challenge. Australia too has a legacy racing the V8-powered American Iron, and the Australian Trans-Am group are keeping that tradition alive. Ian Woodward explains.
Our series is all 63 to 74. Two-door American muscle, must be four-seater. Must be four-seater because it eliminates the Corvettes and the AC Cobras and keeps it all as muscle cars of the era that people can relate to. We're controlled to 11:1 compression ratio. We don't run on racing fuel. We only run on BP Ultimate, pump gas from the service station, H-pattern gearboxes, diffs you're allowed for safety, floating axles, standard control arms, not a lot of modifications. The cars are very, very simple. People can see the direction and the affordability, and everyone's getting on board. There's Anzac rivalry, there is for sure. They've got a lot more horsepower because we're limited to a 350 cubic inch engine, and fuel, they run 406, 426 cubic inch engine, but they also run their glass and windows, which they're a bit heavier. There's not an awful lot in it. And the Kiwis are much better drivers.
That statement would be put to the test on the challenging Hampton Downs circuit over the 2 weekends. Looking forward to that challenge, Historic Muscle Cars Director Dale Mathers.
It's a pretty competitive field, you know. Both groups, they're still cars. We got them on the same tyre and wheel combination and pretty much the same brake package, you know. So we're a bit heavier with a bit more horsepower, and they're a bit lighter with a controlled engine. And running 98 pump gas. So, you know, you add all that together and we've got a competitive grid where, you know, I think like the first 10 cars, you chuck a blanket over them, you know, and that makes for a good display out on the track.
Going into the final weekend's racing, the Anzac Challenge was finely balanced, with the Australians holding a slim points advantage heading into the last day of racing. Well, picture-perfect conditions here at Hampton Downs for the last weekend of the Gulf Oil's Formula 5000 Festival of Motor Racing. This is the penultimate race for the historic muscle cars and the Trans-Ams from Australia, and it is an all-Kiwi front row, the Specialised Imports team cars of Steve Elliott, number 41, and alongside him, number 47, and that is Peter Stevenson, and away they go. Just in behind them, it is Murray Brown, and look for the fat-ass Pontiac, that is Ian Woodward, to make his move through there. 69 is Anthony Tenkate from Australia. You're on board here with John Samios in the Simonized replica Mustang fastback. Fan out and head down into turn number one. Slight lock up there from Steve Elliott, but he will take them up and over the hill for the first time. Stevenson slots into second place. Murray Brown up on the outside there, maybe caught out for track position a little bit. He might get shuffled as they head down into the right-hander here. No, he manages to squeeze in, trying to get around the outside of him is Kevin Gimlett in the Dale Earnhardt replica Chevy Camaro. So it's the Australian that's been shuffled. The fat-ass Pontiac of Ian Woodward. There he is, the white number 2. You're on board with him here, taking the Health House pictures as they work their way down the short chute to the bottom end of the circuit here at Hampton Downs. New Zealanders to the fore. Steve Elliott, ex-truck racer, ex-UDC V8 Utes racer, and now in the historic muscle car class. Number 10 there, John Samios in the Mustang fastback. Just getting up ahead of him, the Z28 Chevy Camaro of Murray Brown. Back on board here with Woodward. He is Mr. Fat Ass Engines, building a lot of the Australian Trans-Am cars. Looking to move up on the points as it's all about the Anzac Challenge. Papamoa's Kevin Gimlett in the number 3. The tribute to Dale Earnhardt. Oh, just getting a little bit wide there was Tenkate. And that just gives Steve Elliott a little bit of breathing room. Slight lock-up as they head down into turn number 2. There's Gimlett, there's Murray Brown. Back on board here with Ian Woodward, currently sitting in 6th place as he works his way up over the top of the hill. Just up ahead of him is Murray Brown. Now, Murray Brown's made major modifications to that Z28 Camaro since it was in Central Muscle Car Group trim. Originally started out in the Super GTs, had fiberglass panels and bigger wheels. He's gone back to the 15-inch wheels. They're all running the Hoosier tyres on these historic historic muscle cars and Australian Trans Am cars. Murray absolutely loving his time in that class, and it shows because he was a race winner in race 2 here at Hampton Downs. So watch out for the Z28, number 28, Auckland's Murray Brown. At the moment, it's another Aucklander, Steve Elliott in the front, getting absolutely monstered round the outside of the sweeper here at Hampton Downs. That's car number 69. That's Anthony Tenkate out of Australia, and he is the series sponsor of the Australian Trans Am Group. And have a look at this. It's Ford versus Chevy, side by side. Australia versus New Zealand. The Australian goes into the front. So in lap 3 of this 8-lap race, we've got the Aussies in the front once again. Car number 69, Anthony Tenkate out of Queensland. Right in behind him, Auckland's Steve Elliott. Kevin Gimlett starting to make his presence felt there as well. You're back on board here with Ian Woodward. He also sponsors the Australian Trans Am Group in the 5-litre class through his company, Fat As Engines. Oh, and problems here for Elliott. Oh, and brilliant manoeuvring there from Woodward to miss everything. And the same could probably be said for John Samios as well. Elliott goes off onto the grass. He's got a mechanical issue. The field is concertinaed up. It hasn't really changed the top 5 position. You see the hand out the window there from Ian Woodward as we take the Health House in-car pictures, just to let everybody know that thanks for giving us a little bit of racing room. Out on the front, 69, Anthony Tenkate. He has never won a motor race in his motor racing history. Is it going to be his day here at Hampton Downs? In second place, Papamoa's Kevin Gimlett, 25 years of speedway experience behind the steering wheel of the tribute car to Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Camaro. Then it's Samios. Murray Brown is the meat in the sandwich in the Chevy Camaro. Then it's the 1970 Pontiac Firebird of Woodward. There is Samios in the Simonised livery on the Mustang Fastback. You're on board with him here as he works into this difficult turn 1, this off-camber corner. Just up ahead of him, his compatriot, and that is Ian Woodward, one of the movers and shakers in the Australian Trans Am Group. They combine here with the historic muscle cars. There's a fair bit of parity in these cars, so it comes down to a bit of fine fettling and driver ability. And look at the way that Woodward is just wrestling with the Pontiac to stay with Murray Brown. That's the battle for the minors at the moment. Dave Sturrock and also Roger Williams coming into it as well. Now, Roger Williams got second in race number 1, but he was the only one in qualifying to go under the 1:14, so watch for the number 12. You'll see it very shortly. Chevy on Pontiac, or should I say Pontiac on Chevy, as you're on board here with the Mustang of Samios. Right in behind him now, Roger Williams, so he is a coming presence, and right back behind Williams, the number 7. Down the inside as they come to the big sweeper here at Hampton Downs, and it's the Pontiac hugging the pole line, trying to get around Murray Brown. You're on board here with a real fighting Ian Woodward as he tries to get closer to the Kiwi. Can't do it. Still 69 in the front. That is Tenkate. Then it is Gimlett. Then it's Brown, the Z28 Chevy Camaro. Right in behind him, the 1970 Pontiac Firebird. That is Ian Woodward. You're on board once again with Samios. He's watching this battle commence, and Roger Williams dives down the inside through turn 1. So Williams is a man on a charge in the American Airlines Chevy Camaro, the red, white and blue colours. Oh, don't argue from Samios. Well, there was contact there for sure between the Australian and the Kiwi. And have a look at Woodward. He's drifting it like Shane Van Gisbergen does when they have drifting here at Hampton Downs. So it is Murray Brown, then it's Woodward, then it is Williams. You're on board here with Woodward. He's got more than a handful on his hands as we have a look at the Health House pictures. Maybe the Hoosier tyres that all these cars run are just starting to give up a little bit of their traction as we reach half distance in this race. Australia versus New Zealand at the front of the field. Australia versus New Zealand in 3rd and 4th, and then Australia versus New Zealand in 5th and 6th as well. That's what the big crowd has come to see here at Hampton Downs. Samios being chased now by Dave Sturrock in the Gulf Oils Camaro. Recently got this car going. You're riding on board here with Sturrock. Now have a look at the camera angle here, because the camera is actually on his helmet. That's why you might be suffering from a little bit of vertigo. Back on board here with Ian Woodward. Finished second in the Trans Am Championship last year to Craig Harris. Down into turn 1 he goes once again, so he's got up the inside of Murray Brown. Has he made the pass stick? Yes, he has. Once again, Gentleman Jim, Ian Woodward, puts a hand up to say, thanks very much, Murray. Thanks for not driving into the side of me. Roger Williams dives down the inside as they go through turn 2, so he's moving up. I think he started from around about grid position 10, so it's been a good drive from Roger Williams. Back on board here with Samios in the Mustang. Race leader, though, is in a Mustang, but it is Anthony Tenkate. Big sideways movement once again from the Pontiac Firebird of Ian Woodward. There is a good look at Roger Williams in his Chevy Camaro, the 1969 Chamberlain American Air Chev replica. Well, Roger Williams is a bit of a car collector. I think by my count he owns about 2 Formula 5000s. He owns the ex-John Bow Mercedes sports sedan out of Australia, and he's got the Camaro as well, as we're right on board here with Semios. Semios sitting just in behind Murray Brown now. So once again, it's Australia versus New Zealand. Last lap board will be out this time, and it looks like we're going to make history here at Hampton Downs, unless Kevin Gimlett in the number 3, the Chevy Camaro, can do anything about it. It looks to me like Anthony Tenkate is going to win his first race. He's got around about 2 kilometres of this 2.8 kilometre circuit to prove me right. Up and over the top he goes through turn 3. Gimlett right in behind him. Ford on Chev, the classic battle, Australia versus New Zealand. This is good points for the Aussies in the Anzac Challenge. Round through the Pepsi corner they go, heading for the hairpin now. Australia in the lead. New Zealand in second. Ford on Chevy. Mustang on Camaro. It doesn't get better than this. Through the hairpin they go. Anthony Tenkate, is he about to make history here in his 1969 Trans Am Ford Mustang Fastback, and is he going to win his first ever motor race? Well, he had to cross the Tasman to do it, but it looks very much that way. One sweeping corner to go, and then it's the uphill drive to the finish line for Queensland. Anthony Tenkate, he's going to win his first motor race ever in a series that he sponsors in Australia. The Australian Trans Ams are going to carry the day here in race number 1 on Sunday afternoon, the second week of the festival, and the Aussies have got the win. There's nothing Kevin Gimlett can do about it. He'll get second place points for the Kiwis, but the Australians will ease ahead in the Anzac Challenge. Tenkate gets his first win of his career, Kevin Gimlett is second, and then it's Ian Woodward from Australia, followed by New Zealand's Roger Williams and Murray Brown. The Australian Trans Ams were having just their 3rd visit to Hampton Downs, and we're looking forward to hosting their Kiwi cousins at Queensland Raceway and historic Lakeside facility. Shane Wilson explains.
We've got slightly different rules, but the cars are very similar and similar in speeds, which makes close racing here, and when the boys come over and race with us in Australia, so we really enjoy it. New Zealanders run any sort of Aussie muscle car, so you can have Hollands and Tiranas and Falcons and stuff too, but it's mainly American cars, yeah. When I was a little kid, I used to watch Paul Fahey race, you know, he was my hero, so I'm just reliving a dream. I'll never be as good as he was, but it's good fun trying.
Well, you've got a big American car and you want to build one, this is the place to be, really. It's, yeah, excellent.
Is it always going to be a Plymouth?
Oh, no, it evolved over a couple of beers. We had a discussion about it and decided it was something different, and the Hemi, nobody's running a Hemi, so we put a big Hemi in it, probably to our disadvantage, but it's something different, and that's mainly what we're aiming at. I mean, I'm at the age where I'm never going to be a Formula 1 driver, so we'll just have fun, you know, and that's what these are about, you know, enjoying yourself.
I bought the car, basically it was running, thinking, hey, it needs not much, I'll chuck it on the track real soon. And of course, as everyone expected me to do, I stripped it completely. We cut the roll cage out and just completely started again. Hey, look, we're all competitive or we wouldn't be in race cars. But I think we all, amongst ourselves, know that nobody wants any dramas. We don't need to bend fenders or do anything silly, late manoeuvres that could cause any problems. So it's a gentleman's racing, really, you know. We're all a bit older boys now, so we just want to have some fun in our toys and have a beer afterwards and put them all away in the same way they came to the track.
After a quarter of a century in Speedway, I was looking for something to retire to, something a little where I could relax out on the track. I went to the States to follow Speedway for about 3 months and join a crew over there. So we looked around and found this 67 Camaro that was sitting in the shed in California for 6 years, and it looked like it'd make a good classic car. So I already had the Dale Earnhardt jacket.
That's the only excuse you needed?
That's the excuse. So we didn't have another red race car, we had a Dale Earnhardt coloured car.
And it is that Dale Earnhardt coloured car that sits on the front row. There he is, the good wrench Chevy Camaro, the Dale Earnhardt tribute car. Alongside of him, Roger Williams. They get set to go. Once again, a rolling start here at Hampton Downs. This is the final race of the second weekend to decide who's got the supremacy. Will it be the Kiwis? Will it be the Aussies? I can tell you that the Aussies were just a hair ahead going into this, the fourth and final race of the weekend. You're back on board here with Ian Woodward, and he sits currently in about fifth spot, just caught up on the inside of the racetrack. Roger Williams goes straight into his work and goes into the front in the Chamberlain replica Chevy Camaro. You're on board here in the Specialised Imports Mustang of Peter Stevenson out of Pre-65 Racing, is into this very, very quick Mustang. So it's New Zealand 1 and 2, then it's the Australian, Tenkate, and then it's another Australian in the form of Woodward, and then I think it's even another Australian in the form of Samios, but we'll check on that for you. It's all about points in this Anzac Challenge, and as I said before, the Australians just a tick ahead at the moment. Back on board here with Dave Sturrock and that beautiful Gulf Oil Chevy Camaro. As I said, they just recently completed that car. It's the only car in the field that runs mechanical fuel injection, on board with the man that finished second in the Australian Championships last year. This is Ian Woodward. The Fat Ass engine sponsored 1970 Pontiac Firebird. But it's Williams, Gimlet, and then Tenkate. First, second and third, two Camaros leading a Ford. Big lock up there from Kevin Gimlet as he tries to drive down the inside of Williams. Thinks better of it, lets Williams have the corner. We're on board here with Woodward. Oh, and Tenkate's got it wrong and he gets onto the grass. Oh, that was very, very close indeed. And you were sitting with the best seat in the house when it happened. Tenkate nudges the Mustang up against the wall. Taking advantage of that with John Samios. This is Dave Sturrock. He's sitting back in the top five. You're on board with him as he works his way up over turn 3, up and over the top here at Hampton Downs. There's the man in second, Gimlet. Roger Williams starting to drive away from them. Here's a replay. Watch the 69, just gets it a little bit wide coming out of 1 onto the grass and then spins it round right in front of fellow Australian Ian Woodward. Back into the racing now, and we focus in on number 47. This is Mount Mauganui's Peter Stevenson in the 66 Mustang. The Specialised Imports car. Right in behind him, Murray Brown. Murray Brown winning race number 2 of the doubleheader weekend, and that was the reverse grid race. You're on board here with Stevenson. Just have a look to the right. You might just get a glimpse of the Z28 Chevy Camaro because they were close going up the hill. And there we are. The Chevy is going to outmuscle the Ford as they head to the stripe. There's nothing in it. Their door handle heading into 1. Stevenson gets out of it and gives Murray Brown the corner. And really, that is the tenet of the historic muscle cars. They don't want to bend these amazing machines. They certainly want to get out there on the racetrack and race, but it's not super serious. So Murray Brown gains the spot on fellow New Zealander Peter Stevenson. There he is, the 47. Meantime, further up the field, the Aussies battling like there's no tomorrow. Samios and the Simonised replica Mustang. And watching that from on board the Sturrock Chevy Camaro is Dave Sturrock, and he's trying to put the move on Ian Woodward here as they head down into the hairpin. Woodward in the Pontiac. Sturrock just runs it a little bit wide. Woodward gets way sideways. This is the battle going on for the minors for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. You're right in the middle of it here. Sturrock's capitalised from a momentary loss of traction there for Ian Woodward, so he moves up a spot. It's mechanically fuel-injected Chevy Camaro of Dave Sturrock, currently sitting in 4th place. There's the race leader, Roger Williams, coming out of 1. There's Kevin Gimlet in 2, so New Zealanders 1, 2. Australia's John Samios in 3. Then it's Sturrock from New Zealand, and then it is Woodward from Australia. So the honours are fairly evenly spread as these three work their way into turn number 1 here at Hampton Downs. Down the short chute into the Hamilton Asphalts, turn 2 they come. Meantime, Roger Williams has come up and over the hill and heading down into the Pepsi turn at the far end of the circuit. It has been a dominant performance from Williams. He was the only one that qualified sub 1:14 seconds in the lap times. Second in the first race. That first race was won by John English, one of the directors of the Australian Trans-Ams. Then it was Murray Brown taking race number 2 for the Kiwis. Then it was Woodward taking race number 3. And today we've seen Anthony Tenkate have his first win. And are we going to see Roger Williams complete win number? Well, anybody's guess, because he's driven everything. This is the man in second place, Papamoa's Kevin Gimlet in the Dale Earnhardt replica Chevy Camaro. You heard him say in the interview that they thought they'd have a red race car, but then he had the Dale Earnhardt jacket and he knew that Earnhardt always drove a black car. We'll come back to that as Roger Williams heads across the stripe to complete yet another lap. Last lap now for the popular Aucklander and car collector from Auckland. As I mentioned before, Formula 5000 Tasman Cup Revival Series driver. In fact, still involved in that series, in the ex-Danny Ongaias Lola. Here he is in the American Airlines Chevy Camaro from 1969. working his way up and over the top of the hill here at Hampton and down the other side, heading into the Pepsi corner on the last lap, running to the checkered flag. Roger Williams is going to win the final race of what has been a very successful Gulf Oils Howden Ganley Formula 5000 Festival of Motor Racing, and the big crowds have absolutely loved the historic muscle cars and our visitors from across the Tasman, from the Sunshine State of Queensland, the Australian Trans Am Group. It's going to be Kiwis 1 and 2 though in the final race of the weekend. You're back on board here with the Australian Ian Woodward. He finished second in their series to Craig Wilson, ex-Australian touring car driver. He's going to finish a little further down than that. Sturrock gets around Samios, so Sturrock now moves up to third. So New Zealanders 1, 2 and 3 in the grand final. Here comes the checkered flag though for Roger Williams. He's going to win it and win it comfortably. In second place it will be Kevin Gimlett, and in third place Dave Sturrock. Is that enough to square the ledger between the Aussies and the Kiwis in the Anzac Challenge? I don't think it is. I think it's going to be the Australians by the smallest of margins. Roger Williams wins the battle, but I think the Kiwis lose the war. Kevin Gimlett is second and Dave Sturrock third, but the Anzac Challenge goes to Australia.